Okay, so I've decided I'm going to continue on with the install of my Rostra cruise control and just add to this this little fairing video. And so here we have a Rostra electronic cruise control that I got from Murphs kits. So I'll be installing that. I'll be installing a little cover for the control pad, and of course a nice little handy control pad mount. I'll also be employing some zip ties in the install, and then some of these little posi tap connectors that I like so much, and posi locks. These things are great. You can find them at an app in case you don't know. Also going to have the laptop here just in case we run into problems. So the idea is that I'm not taking any credit for this, by the way. This is done by a lot of smarter people than me before me, so they're the ones that you owe a debt of gratitude. I'm just going to try to document what I'm doing so that the next guy could probably see that it's either easy or hard. And what I'm going to do is, there's a lot of ways to install the unit, but I think I'm going to put the actual cruise control servo unit in here, and maybe figure out a way to do that. Otherwise, I have to do a bunch of custom bracket work, and really not too excited about that, even though it probably wouldn't be all that tough. And then the thought is that I'll just run the cruise control cable over here, probably down behind this heat deflector shield somewhere, probably down around this, and snake it back in and up there, and then hook onto the throttle tank. 5/16 hole is going to need to be drilled there, and a bracket is going to need to be fashioned here in some manner. There's a few ways that I have. Other people have taken the existing bracket, drilled a couple holes in this, and kind of bent it around, and I'll check into that. This may be a work in progress. So I'm going to get started. Okay, so I guess the first things first on this cruise control install is that we need to set the dip switches. And so just basically pull off this little rubber snap piece, and you'll see the dip switches in there. I have the cable going towards me, and so that way is on, this way is off. So to you is off, and away from you is on. And then the switches are as follows here. We have switches 1, 2 off, 3, 4, 5, 6 on, 7, 8 off, 9 off, 10, 11 on, and 12 off. And I just used this little thing in there and went and just flipped them on or off as needed. So that's step one. Okay, so I think I got an idea on how I'm going to mount this. I took the stock mount and bolted it, and then I kind of bent it in a vise a little bit and pounded on it, kind of made it just a gentle slope like that. It's going to fit down in here, and I don't know what this motorcycle that I bought to use, but there's a bolt hole there, and sorry, I don't know the size, but I believe it's the same thread size as one of these bolts right here in the side, but I'm not sure if that's what, an 8mm or something, but this is just something I had laying in my junk drawer. And so I think I'm going to screw it down to that. Now I'm just going to go ahead and screw it down, and I'm not going to remove it, because once I get it set, I think I'm going to leave it there. And then I'm going to try to test fit this and put this back on. Okay, it's been a night here, so here's the final setup. Excuse the wires that are all thrown in there. So I was playing blacksmith, trying to get this stupid thing in here, and so I ended up turning it upside down, bending this piece down, then doing a kind of a curve, and then I stuck my bolt in there, and it seems to hold it pretty good. There's only one way you can really route the cables. That has to be underneath this center part here, because that piece that comes over, it actually gets really close and hits this. Maybe there's a better way, and you'd want to do it the way somebody else has done this, because I don't know. In hindsight, I'd probably do it differently, but it's already in. It took me a long time to get it, and a lot of frustration. But I did put this piece on, and I did put this piece back on just to make sure that it would all work, you know. And hopefully it doesn't vibrate. I mean, it's pretty snug fit, so I may stuff some other stuff around there to make sure that it doesn't vibrate. But now I got to figure out how to run all the wiring. Probably need to keep most of the wiring, you know, to this side under in here. So we'll see how that goes. Next is the throttle connection. All right, so here's where we're at now. I took this piece and it had wings on it or a tab, and I took the Sawzall and cut that down, and then I cut the end of this down a little bit and just put it in my vise and just pounded on it till it was a 90-degree angle, and came out all right. I mean, not bad for a hack. Anyway, so I also took this connector out, and I'm thinking that I'm going to do something like this, where I just put this here, and then either drill this out and put a screw there, and put a little spacer and a screw there, and then run the cable up there, because I think that'll probably be. I mean, if you look at the throttle here, the throw on the throttle, that should be pretty good. And I may have to cut this top off and then, you know, grind it down or whatever. And then I'll zip tie this whole mess to it. Now, cable routing, the cable routing is kind of a pain in the neck. So I don't know exactly how to do it because I don't know how much play I'm going to need. I tried to put it behind the reservoir here, but I mean, there's an exhaust right there, even though they have plastic right to the engine, so it must not be that hot. But I get the bottom screw up, that's why it's loose. But I just didn't like running the cable back there and then up against the engine block. It's, you know, I don't know how the fairing's going to fit with the cable coming, you know, down here, and you know, if this is all going to be covered and whatnot. And but just so you can see how I ran the cable. Hopefully that, you know, I'll fasten that off. Then I'm thinking about just making a loop right there and going back up into that thing. But that's a job for tomorrow. I'm done for the night. Okay, time for an update. I have the throttle linkage all connected. And so, reiterate from my last little clip here, we went with the throttle cable, tucked it back behind there. And I don't know if you can see that, but that's where I cut off the end of the tab, and then cut off the end of the tab, and then just put that clip in there, and then I ran the throttle connection right there, and I'll show you how it looks from below. This is an extremely important part of installing this cruise control, and I'll tell you what, I mean, it can be deadly too if you don't do it right. So this is where you need to take your time. So what I did, it's just pretty simple. I just furred this little piece out with washers right here, put this in, got it up here, and then I just kind of cut it off with my Sawzall, and then just filed that down. The throttle connection is very tricky. It's not what I thought it would be. If I had to do it over again, I would probably put that nut right underneath the spring assembly. Because what happens is, if you look, you can see that there's, maybe you can't see it on the camera, but there is just no room for the nut. And then you also have to be careful, because behind here, there's, it's going to be difficult to do this on the camera, but there's this little cable here. Well, the back side of this screw hits that. So what I had to do, these are the factory screws that come in the cruise control kit. And so what I had to do was basically buy a smaller one in length, a little bit shorter, and then I put the bike all together, and then this the throttle assembly was hitting on this brace. So what I did is I took my little small hacksaw and I got in there, and I just cut that out, and then I rebundled this to the brace, put some Loctite back on the brace, and hooked it back up. I hope this comes out on camera. It probably won't come out as good as I'd like it to. But this is about the best way I could do this. You know, this only employs doing one bolt. You don't have to drill this piece, and that's what was kind of attractive. You sacrifice the connector that keeps this bundle there, but I think that I mean, this is nice and secure, and this assembly is not going to move at all. That cruise control assembly. The only thing that really worries me is this little bow in the cable, and I don't know how it's going to work with the fairing. I tried to route it millions of different ways, but this seems I could probably tuck it underneath that bottle right there, and hopefully that works, because I'd hate to have to get this whole thing together only to realize that it's going to catch on something or be in the way of something. So, but that's it. It took me all afternoon to do this. And once I got home from work, and it's kind of a hack job, but I guess it's my hack job, so I'm proud of it. Thanks.